But are you suggesting that he was working for the U.S. government or NATO, or he was just a reporter who was given material he wasn't supposed to have? Those seem like very different things.
I don't know who he was working for, but I would like to reiterate that getting classified information in secret is called espionage.
How did you survive the event of yesterday?
So what big event are you talking about? Putin?
No, yeah, that one, yeah.
I found it to be a quite interesting interview. I think Tucker Carlson got himself in a little deep. I think, Tucker is a good journalist, but Putin tends to rise way up here.
Yeah, Tucker was a little bit out of his element, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that there was a couple of things, not in a way of criticizing the president, but he reminded me of my ex-girlfriend. Not
the Brazilian one.
Exactly, the Brazilian one. So she always complained when I was trying to answer her question. I would start from like Adam and Eve, because I always thought to provide the proper answer, you have to give a context.
Context, yeah.
Right? This is exactly what Vladimir Putin was doing, actually. And I understand that probably most people are like, oh my God, what he's talking about? Like, like the eyes were glazing over and everything else. So I would try to answer exactly like that. And actually, I've been in this conversation in the last 10 years now, and 90% of those conversations happened in the last 2 years, of course, for obvious reasons.
Yes.
And every time it was exactly like that. And people would just at some point stop listening because I am not a president, so why would they listen to me? That was one thing. And second is that, again, the president proved that he is human, because he was making like small mistakes. He was correcting himself. He definitely would forget something. So he was not, he didn't look like, like a omnipotent, how you call it, the all-knowing,
yes,
Olympian or something like that. He was just a regular person who, of course, invested in all that power.
Well, we Russians think he is a god.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's North Korea.
Well, yeah. The problem, it's more in the neighboring territory he is considered a god.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know, actually. I don't know much about North Korea or the People Republic, whatever they call it.
Democratic.
Democratic,
people,
yeah.
Democratic Republic of Korea,
Korea, yeah. But from what I learned, very, very few details from maybe not objective, but balanced in a way that they talk more positive about North Korea than others, even in Russia, by the way. Because there's quite a bit of criticism of North Korea in Russia from people mostly who've never been there, by the way. Is that it is not, the devil is not as devilish as they make him.
I agree, and I know some people who have come from North Korea, a couple of them that live here in Russia, and I view it as the same propaganda as Putin gets.
Yeah, exactly. It's a black legend which has been applied over the centuries to many countries, like by the Brits about the Spaniards by the Brits and the French and many others about the Russians and so forth. Yeah, it's nothing new
Yes.
about that.
Yeah. I thought it was very, I mean, you know, his little history lesson, I actually learned, you know, his views on Lenin, which were not exactly positive.
Yeah, well, well, I probably have been watching him a little bit longer than you have, so it is nothing new about that. He in one famous, I don't remember if it was a speech or was it an article he published about 10 years ago, maybe more by now, that he said that Lenin put or booby-trapped, let's say, Soviet Union with an atomic device which exploded in 1991. And if I remember correctly, he was specifically talking about that structure of the Soviet Union of several, it was like a confederation in a way. So with the republics which had the right to secede, right?
Yeah.
And this is exactly what he mentioned now yesterday in that interview. There are quite a few considerations for that thing, which many people on the left in Russia, and not only in Russia, actually explained why it was done like that, because otherwise, among other things, specifically, by the way, the Ukraine, which had a big chunk of it occupied by Poland by the Treaty of 1921, which Putin mentioned yesterday, by the way. He was not very precise in his language because I listened first in English and then in Russian this morning, and I've noticed there was quite a few minor incorrect things translated. At least, I don't know if there are is there just one or more than one translations into English, but the one which is on the Tucker Carlson website, because I was hearing the Russian and they were dubbing him in English, right? So that's what he said exactly. But so anyhow, so it was translated like in 1921, the left bank of Dnieper again went to Poland. This is not exactly what he said in Russian, actually. That
I'm sure of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that he was like he don't remember exactly what he said in Russian, but it was something like a part of that land went to Poland again. Yes, that is correct. But anyhow, so if the reason, at least that's what the contemporary communists explain it, historians, not necessarily communists, that the creation of that republic with the potential to be independent was something for the Ukrainians or Belarusians who happen to be in the same situation. It was for them a beacon, so they can something to strive to and want to join. Because in Poland, in those Kresy Wschodnie, if I'm not mistaken, that's how it's called in Polish, Ukrainians and Belarusians, they were very much suppressed. So it was like they were Polonized. There were quite a bit of effort to close all schools in Russian or Belarusian or in Ukrainian and so forth. And they were settling Polish people in those regions to be like a conductors, let's say, of Polish influence and Polonization. And given more time, they would probably succeed. And basically, that's exactly in a way what Ukrainians were doing or have been doing in the last more with increasing intensity in the last 30 years. Yeah, so they had a good teachers. So.
Yeah, I noticed several times as I was listening to it that, wait a minute, that's not quite a correct translation.
Yes, sometimes Putin himself was not exactly correct, but again, in a speech without a piece of paper to glance at, or
Yes.
without a teleprompter, will not point at any people who use it or used to use it all the time. It is just quite natural to have such a minor slips. Yeah,
Yes.
but there were quite a few minor mistranslations, let's say.
Yeah, it amazed me how, they tended to take things that Putin would say that were, in his humor, but of course his humor is sharp and it contains a good amount of truth. But particularly the British and the New Zealanders turned that into he was having a rant. So I had to go back and rewatch it last night looking for that rant.
Yeah, what can you do? Yeah, interesting detail, by the way, which it occurred to me just like about an hour ago. And it was because I listened to it in Russian translation, I did not hear what he said in Russian last night because it was kind of was overlapped by English.
Yes.
Voice is that to imagine a Soviet politician or a person working in the mass media to say a word "жопа" on air, either live or recorded. It was completely it was beyond anything imaginable.
Yeah, so, I don't know that word.
Жопа, when he said that, when he was describing his conversation with, I believe it was with Clinton, right? That when he said that your boys are messing with in our backyard in Chechnya, right? And the American president answered, "Oh, I will what something like a whip his ass or something like that." So in Russian, Putin said, "I am по жопе надаю," or something like that. This is how much more relaxed and less prudish, let's say, the Russian public discourse has become. Because again, nothing like that would have been pronounced on air by anyone, even though you would know for sure that and it was mostly men, of course, and many women, not on air, not on a hot mic, they would be, let's say, very like a loose tongue, right, or something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely in Russia, a lot of things changed since I left. that is for sure. Yeah, that's it, and this is even after. Well, of course, who would tell the president what he can say and what he cannot? But there was quite several years ago. There was actually a law made in Russia which forbade swear words in public. So you cannot anymore have a movie translated with all the F words in English.
Yes.
You cannot translate them into Russian anymore. Apparently, I didn't see it, of course, because I was not living in Russia by then. So apparently it was okay in the 90s and the early 2000s for a while, because in the Soviet Union, again, it was completely out of bounds. And I remember it was quite a few jokes about how people had to, what kind of hoops the translator had to jump through to rephrase and avoid all words like that, which are abound, of course, in American and not only American movies. And there was something like, was some Italian movie about mafia, and there was a conversation when two ladies were talking about men. I don't remember if he was a policeman or mafioso. I don't remember, but one of them was describing to another that he is very good in bed or something like that. So that phrase, that he is very good in bed, in a Russian translation of that movie was made into something like he is very good in poker or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was completely out of it was completely changing the whole conversation.
Yes.
It made no sense at all. Yeah, but now apparently at least Zopa is allowed. Yeah, if not something more, maybe not stronger words, but that is okay.
Well, and like you say, who's going to tell the president what he can say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for listening and giving me an opportunity to talk, because usually I don't talk much to anyone but clients over some Zoom or whatever. Okay.
Always an interesting conversation with you, Serge.
Thank you. Okay, have a nice weekend. And
Thank you.
I've been watching, by the way, your propaganda videos the last couple of days. That was something, yeah. Right to the point.
I'm gonna be doing a few more of those.
Yeah,
so
a lot of material about
yes
to talk about.
I figured it's not appropriate for the current channel, so I actually have a new channel that I'm posting them on as well, and we'll try to stay up with current events.
Branching out, right? I call it diversification. Right?
Yes.
Okay then. Okay, say hi to Irina.
Right,
see you hopefully next week.
Have a relaxing weekend.
Okay.
All right.
Good night. Oh, actually, good day for you. Good night to me. Bye.
Yes. Bye.